What's up, everybody? Yu-Gi-Oh 101 tips video here. Here to talk about some replacements for two cards that hit the ban list that people were pretty devastated about. I've seen the videos on YouTube. People were jizzing their pants and crying and rubbing their nipples and all that other crazy shit. And I just feel like I should, be of some help when it comes to things like this, considering, not to toot my own horn, but, I am experienced in this damn game and I do research cards, so least I could do is try to help out. And again, not to be an asshole, I just really want to help people out when it comes to this game. And I'm just feeling kind of really melodramatic right now, so yeah, whoopee. So these two cards that I'm going to be talking about, the replacements for, are Monster Reborn and Heavy Storm. Now, these two cards have been staples, or are like mainstays in the game for like a number of years, and to see those two cards hit the list, I mean, of course, like with Heavy Storm, it was banned, but then it came back, and it was really helpful. But to see those two cards hit the list, it really puts people in, what I'm saying, like disarray when it comes to this game now, because this is what I've been saying ever since I started Yu-Gi-Oh 101. Research cards, find out what else is out there, because things like this could happen, and sure enough, they did. But I'm here to talk about the replacements for Heavy Storm and Monster Reborn. So first, we're going to start off with the replacements uh, for Heavy Storm. So first off, we have Mystical Space Typhoon. Obviously, this was an obvious pick. It's not as good, but it is like a 1-for-1, and it's pretty simple. Next up, we have Double Cyclone. It's a quick play spell card that you can use to destroy one of your spells or traps that are face down, and you can take out one of your opponent's spells or traps. So now you can probably use this to a uh, strategical advantage, for those out there who want to be, say like more uh, creative, or what have you. There's some spells and traps that can only be activated by being destroyed face down, and this is a good card for that. Now, again, it may not be what you want, but it is a decent replacement if you're looking for something creative. Now, this next card I'm going to be talking about is probably like a trap version of Heavy Storm. So this is like the best, one right here. This is Malevolent Catastrophe, and I used this card for like a number of months last year, but then I just moved on to other things. But it's a trap card that pretty much destroys all spells and trap cards on the field when your opponent declares an attack. So it's kind of like a Mirror Force Heavy Storm kind of mix going on there. When your opponent attacks, that's the activation point, and then it activates it to like a Heavy Storm type of thing. So this is like the best option if you really miss Heavy Storm that much and you feel like you need it. Well, there you go. Like the only risk with it, of course, it's a trap card. It has to be set, plus you have to wait for your opponent to attack you. And yeah, but it's the best replacement out of the ones that out of all the cards that I've seen. This is the number one, card that can replace Heavy Storm at the moment, just until they bring in like another card to, like replace Heavy Storm with, if they're going to do that. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the replacements for Monster Reborn. Now, first up, we have Call of the Haunted. This one pretty much was a gimme. It doesn't do as much as Monster Reborn does. Like, it doesn't give you that option to pick from your opponent's graveyard, but most of the people that use Monster Reborn, from my experience, they just use it to revive a monster out of their graveyards to help with their strategies. And Call of the Haunted can do that, just regardless of level, or type or whatever. It can revive one monster out of your graveyard, and there you go. Now, these other cards, they are like helpful based on like the type of deck you're using, but they're still, like good replacements for their respective decks for Monster Reborn. And first up, we have Book of Life. If you're running a zombie type build, then obviously you're already going to be running Book of Life. You know, it targets both your and your opponent's graveyard, and yeah, it allows you to revive a zombie while banishing one of your opponent's monsters out of their graveyard, which is helpful in so many ways. So many ways. And it can really come in handy when you're, when you're running a zombie type build. So now that Monster Reborn is gone, you really do have a reason to run like 3 of these. So there you go. Next up, these next 4 are pretty much, sound like will be for normal monster builds, or like the last 3. This one right here is, is the Rope of Life, and when your monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your graveyard, you can discard your entire hand and target one of those monsters, and you can special summon it. And if you do, it gains 800 attack. Possibly not the best option, but it is a option. Yeah, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Again, that drawback when you have to discard your entire hand, it's some cards in this game that can take advantage of that. So if you feel like being more strategic with your build and you feel like you can use a card like that, well, there you go. Now these last 3 are going to be for normal monsters. So normal monster builds, they pretty much have the most options when it comes to replacements for Monster Reborn. So there you go. First up, we have Silent Doom. Now, it special summons 1 normal monster from your graveyard and face-up defense position, but the monster can't attack. But it's still good for synchro summoning. Still good for exceed summoning, or for to use the monster as some type of tribute fodder. There you go. It's a Monster Reborn replacement. Next up, we have Swing of Memories, which is pretty much like Silent Doom, with the exception that the monster can be summoned in attack mode, and it's still able to attack. And like the next one is pretty much like the closest thing to Monster Reborn that at this very moment, that we have. This is the closest thing to Monster Reborn. Symbols of Duty. Again, it's for normal monsters, and basically what you do is that you send 1 normal monster that you have to the graveyard, and you get to select and special summon 1 monster from either player's graveyard, and you can equip it with this card. And it's pretty much like Monster Reborn with a cost. So this is right here is the closest thing to Monster Reborn that we have at the moment, at this very moment. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. As always, I always try to be of some help when it comes to this game, because like I wasn't welcome with open arms when I first arrived in the YuGiOh community. Everybody acted like know-nothing, know-it-alls. Everybody claimed to have all this information, and like they knew how to do this, that, and the third, but they never shared it, or they tried to talk down on you just because like you're trying to learn the game, which bothers me, because I'm saying, like, they had to learn the game. So whatever, man. Sometimes people act stupid, and I try to be as helpful as I can so that you can avoid those type of people. So that's the one thing that kind of drove me to make this channel, because I didn't want people to go through what I went through when I first entered this game. So you're still able to get that help just without all the assholes and the so-called pros. So again, I hope this video was helpful, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Until then, peace.